just to reply to a question about why I'm giving Harley a feed. Really good question. Well, he had lost some weight. You wouldn't believe it looking at him now, actually. He looks just about right. He's carrying fat, but that kind of is his MO. So he lost some weight while he was in with Belle. I think this is because, well, he went in there looking, I was a bit worried at how fat he was. But then when we had that really, really, really hot weather, he spent a lot of the time standing under the tree at the top, under the trees at the top in the shade, hiding from those big buzzy flies, which I think are, I don't know if they're deer flies, true horse flies, warbles. They're something really big and bitey and buzzy, and he hates them. It's the one thing that spooks him. And they apparently don't like the dark. So he would spend all day up there while Belle was just cooking herself in the sun. So I think that's when he lost some weight, but he looked quite well. And then the whole time, and then after he was chasing Ginny and Belle around, he did look a little bit tucked up, and which, you know, to be expected. So I was giving him electrolyte and balancer to make sure he was getting everything he needed at that point, just thinking he's run around a lot, he's not focused on eating, he sweated a lot, it was hot weather, etc. So I was just making sure he was getting his salt to start with, because we have salt licks. There's one behind his feet there on the floor. I've never seen him lick a salt lick in his life. He just doesn't seem interested in them. So I was putting salt in his feed to make sure he gets his salt. So electrolytes, salt, balancer, and I just wanted to make sure that he was getting everything. This paddock hasn't got a lot in it. It's fairly small. I wasn't really to put weight on him, although I was adding a little bit of linseed to put a bit of, just fill you out a little bit. He just looked, after being in with Belle and in that really hot weather, and then the Ginny and Belle episode, he just did look a little bit tucked up, like his flanks here were just a bit nipped. And I just thought, oh, let's just pamper you a little bit and just make sure you're feeling all right. He's had his teeth done very recently as well. He's having his feet done on Monday. He's had his vaccinations. So he's kind of just making sure we're looking after the boy, really. But I think he's definitely fattened up again. He's wobbling again, really. He looked a little bit like all around here, just looked a little bit sucked, you know, but actually I'm really happy with how he looks now. I wouldn't want him to be any fatter, really, although we are back end of summer now, you know, starting to think about winter weight. So happy with him the way he is, to be honest. Happy with him, with like a mare arriving to him. Happy with that, because the mare's going to be arriving for him in about 3 weeks' time. So happy with how he looks for that. Just wanted him to feel good. Want make sure he had everything he needed. So balancer was key, really, to make sure he got everything he needs in order to be a thriving breeding stallion who's gone through a bit of a stressful episode, sort of thing. So I probably will stop feeding him as soon as the mare arrives, just because, well, I don't know, maybe they can keep having a small feed together, but I'm possibly just making work for myself. But at the same time, I think giving them a balancer is good. Yeah, we'll see whether he keeps getting anything. Last winter, I fed him, because he was in with Storm and she was getting a feed, and I fed him alongside her, but literally he just had chaff, which is like nothing, it's just grass, and a balancer, and he still like came out of winter, I think, a bit too fat, and then he was too fat in summertime, spring and summertime, and now I think he looks about right. So probably not feeding him through winter, depending on what shape he is going into winter. I mean, he's 19 this time. Patrick, when he hit about this age, stopped being a good doer and sort of started being a bit of a poor doer. So keeping an eye on that as well, just with his age. But we'll see. The whole time he was in with Belle, I wasn't feeding him. I was feeding her, but I wasn't feeding him anything. And then actually, after a few weeks, realised that he did look like he'd lost, but in a good way. You know, he looked healthier to me, a lot healthier to me. I don't worry about him when he's super fat, because that's just how he has been for a very, 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 very long time. Not that it makes it okay, but it makes me think that he tolerates it. He's leaner than he was when he arrived, for example. So I think, well, he obviously tolerates being overweight. He's not metabolic, but it isn't healthy for them to be too fat. His crest is very soft. So keep an eye on his crest up here. Very, very soft. But he does have quite a lot of fat on him again now. So yeah, I'll keep giving him just the basic balancer and salts and things for now, and then we'll just see what is like. What is like in a few weeks' time when his latest and last girlfriend arrives, and decide then whether to keep going with it. Once you're doing it, you kind of have to keep going, because they look for it every day. So he'll be distracted by the new mare. So if I want to stop giving him a feed, that'll be the time to do it. Otherwise, well, I mean, you can just stop and they get used to it, but they sort of expect it of you when you arrive, and it's a bit sad if you arrive empty-handed. So anyway, while he's on his own, I'm happy to just give him a little bit extra. But calorie wise, I think I can cut that down again now that I think he looks spot on. And just keep up the salt. Also, brewer's yeast. He and Edie both seem to benefit from brewer's yeast to keep their tummies all right. Particularly Edie, she gets a runny bum if because I don't know, because sometimes she gets a runny bum and brewer's yeast seems to sort it out. So I'll give him that. Yeah, hope that answers the question, but it's a good one. There, so there's a few getting a feed at the moment, just for various reasons like that. Only one or two really, really definitely need it. Others, I think it's just beneficial, but probably just, yeah, creating work for myself and spending money that probably you wouldn't notice any difference if I didn't feed you, my man. He seems to just exist. Good lad.